All right, what's up, everybody? First of all, apologies for being late. I was moving today on Labor Day, so I had to get some stuff done. But we're looking good. We're looking alive. We're ready to go. It is Labor Day. Happy Labor Day, everybody. Hopefully you all had a fantastic, restful day. For those of you who were off, I'd assume the majority of the chat was probably off. Let me just grab my water here. Today it's going to be a late night stream. It's probably only going to be around maybe an hour and a half. Check out this gorgeous view of the Empire State Building, the Moynihan Train Hall, and Madison Square Garden. It's fantastic. Now, I know what you're thinking. Tom, we were supposed to be in Tribeca tonight, and we were supposed to send it all the way across the Brooklyn Bridge. I understand that. And again, I do apologize. I just couldn't make it down there in time. So maybe we'll do that tomorrow. We'll put a little bit of a rain check on that. And I could promise tomorrow we will be live from Tribeca. And we'll walk over the bridge. Hopefully, it's still nice out tomorrow. I didn't check the weather. The only thing I know is it's going to be in the 90s all week, this week in New York City, which is kind of crazy, right? So we're, first week into September. And it's looking like it's going to be a little bit hotter than August. So we'll figure it out. We'll see what we can do about that. A few things on the agenda for tonight, guys. Now, the first business day of the month was Friday, right before the Labor Day weekend. And we heard from the Institute for Supply Management, and they came out with their manufacturing PMIs. Now, we're going to do a deep dive into this tomorrow, but the manufacturing PMI came in at 47.6. So in general, okay, the way we interpret this data is any reading above 50 signals expansion in the manufacturing sector of the US economy. A reading below 50 signals contraction, but that's not really how we should be interpreting this data. It's more so the trajectory of the PMIs. So let me see if I can drop this link in the chat. I think this is important for everybody to take a look, particularly as we go into next week, because we're going to hear from the Institute of Supply Management again as they release their services PMI, okay? So remember, the first business day of the month, you get the manufacturing PMIs, and then a couple days later, you get the services PMIs. So let's do a little bit of a quick review. Even though we got a reading below 50, we've now had, 1, 2, 3 consecutive months of increasing readings in the manufacturing PMI. So June 2023, we had a 46 reading. July 2023, we had 46.4. And now in August, we have 47.6. So it looks like maybe we had a little bit of a trough in the PMIs and we could actually be totally bottomed out. And maybe as we go into Q4 and the winter months, who knows, maybe we flip positive. Now, we can use the ISM PMIs as a leading economic indicator, right? We talk about this a lot. If you're a portfolio manager, what you want to do is you want to look at the main 3 indicators. So your leading economic indicators, your lagging economic indicators, and your coincident economic indicators. And the reason why we want to look at the ISM PMIs is because 20% of the US economy, give or take roughly, is manufacturing. And the other 80% is services. So there's about an 80% correlation with the PMIs and GDP growth. So if we can understand and try to predict GDP growth in the US economy, right? So if GDP is expanding and GDP is growing, there's a very, very high probability that corporate earnings will also grow. And what do we know about corporate earnings? When corporate earnings grow, most of the time we have higher market valuations, right? So this is why it's important to look at that. We will take a quick peek at futures and then we will get started. It's going to be a short stream. Again, I apologize. I've just been moving. Let's take a look at the S&P 500. E-mini futures contract just opened up here about an hour ago. You can follow along, ticker symbol ES. We're down about 6 points, trading at 4,515. We'll take a look at the tech-heavy NASDAQ, the NASDAQ 100. We're also down about 12 points, trading at 15,505. And then last but not least, the Dow 30, the Dow Jones Industrial Average Futures Contract, ticker symbol YM. We're down about 47 points, 34,834. Since we're here, let's take a look at crude oil. It's a big travel holiday today. Crude is all the way back at $86 a barrel. Something we have to watch. Gold, let's see where gold futures are trading. Gold's trading at about 19.37. Now, if we go all the way back to May 3rd of 2023, just a few months ago here, gold was trading above $2,000 an ounce. We'll see if gold can get a little bit of a rally. I think that's going to be very dependent on the strength of the dollar, which we'll check out right now. If you look at ticker symbol DXY, the Dixie, the dollar, we are now back above the 50-day and the 200-day moving average. The Dixie's at 104. If you rewind all the way back to September of 2022, the exact date was actually September 28th. The Dixie was all the way at 114. And it's so funny because we talk about the Barron's curse. Is anybody familiar with that? We've covered this on the stream before. And I love Barron's. This isn't a shot at them. But sometimes you can use the cover stories of Barron's as like a contrarian indicator. So I want you to do a little bit of research on this. If you go to the week of September 28th, 2022, let me know in the comments what the cover story was for Barron's. Since we're a little short on time tonight, I'll just tell you. It was a huge cover story of the US dollar, and it was something along the lines of the greenback is going to continue to flex its muscles and show strength. Well, guess what? Ever since that cover story came out, the Dixie went from 114 all the way down to 99 July 17th. But we are recovering a little bit, which actually coincides with the equities rally, right? So it's not an exact science, but a strong US dollar can actually be a massive headwind for equities. Think back half a year ago, right? We were on the earnings call. Tim Cook actually said it himself, and many other CEOs of big companies, that a strong US dollar really impacted corporate earnings, particularly a lot of US companies that deal and sell goods and services overseas. Now, why might that be? Well, because if you're selling a product or a service in, just for example, like, a pesos or Russian rubles or, what any other currency, as you go to convert that current foreign currency back to US dollars, if the US dollar is very strong, well, guess what? You're going to be able to buy a lot less US dollars with the foreign currency. Thus, it can definitely impact the bottom line. So it's been interesting to see how this rally in equities has been pretty broad-based, has correlated quite significantly with a weaker dollar. That's all I got. All right, guys, I will go ahead and close up the laptop here. It's a gorgeous night in Manhattan. I want to wish you all, well, I hope you all had a fantastic Labor Day. I'm going to close up the laptop and we will say hello to everybody in the chat. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your Monday night. Give me a moment. Okay, the Moynihan train hall is absolutely slam-packed tonight. That's because everybody is coming back to the city. You guys should have seen it before. Everyone's coming back to the city from the Hamptons, from Long Island, and it's back to business. It's back to reality, as Billy Joel says. All right, let me scroll to the top and say hello to everybody, which is the most important part of the stream, the most enjoyable for me. Hey, Danielle is here. Says, good evening, Tom. Hope all is well, watching from Connecticut. Jafet Perez is here. Eduardo, Joe Ratz, welcome. D, I see Michelle McGraw, a long time no see. Thanks for being here. Jay Grant. Who else we have? Richard Vogel, Brian, Lance. Hey, Lance. Austin City Limits is here. Tobias. Always good to see you. Hey, the one and only Fred X. Happy Labor Day to you. Western Mass Dave, Justin S, Rob. Good to see you, Rob. David B, Ryan Beck, the one and only. Hope everything's well in Texas. Tiffany Page, welcome. Wendy England, Sunshine After Rain, Hawaii, John. Steph UF, what's up? Looks like we got a full house. Fire up barbecue grill today. Now, I was walking way on the Upper West Side of Manhattan by Cathedral Parkway, which is 110th Street. So for those of you who may be new to the stream and new to New York, if you think about Central Park, the start of Central Park is Central Park South and 59th Street, and it goes all the way up to Cathedral Parkway, which is 110th. And I actually really like that area. We almost never stream up there for a few reasons, mainly because we stream at night and it's very dark up there. You really can't see anything. It's not like Midtown where everything is lit up, but I like it up there. I was near the Hudson River, 110th Street, and everybody was grilling outside on the charcoal barbecue grills, which is my favorite. It reminds me of being back in Miami. Obviously, I don't have a backyard here in New York, so it's almost impossible to grill with charcoal here unless you're at a park or something like that. So I don't know, it was nice. It reminded me of the 4th of July, specifically in Miami. We are looking at Madison Square Garden. You'll notice a similar color scheme around the entire city tonight. Everything is lit up in red, white, and blue, which is my favorite color scheme. TB is here, says, hey Tom, hey everybody, what's up? Hawaii says, this is great to walk near the Empire State Building. I agree. Joey B says, no better smell a charcoal grill. It's my favorite. And you have these, you know, almost, now they sell like almost $1,000 barbecue grills. All these tricked out, you know, crazy Weber grills that you can get for hundreds of dollars. But this may be a little bit of a hot take, but I want to know what you guys think in the chat. Food tastes 1,000% better when it's cooked on a generic $10 Walmart charcoal barbecue grill. Is that controversial, or is that just a fact? To me, I would much rather spend $10 at Walmart and cook the hell out of something on a cheap charcoal barbecue than spend $500 on an actual grill. I don't know why, it just tastes a lot better. NAV407, what's up? Says, hey Tom, good to see you. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of people agree. Austin City Limits says you agree. I don't know, it just reminds me of being a kid, reminds me of Jones Beach. You don't need all this fancy schmancy stuff. I don't know. All right, let's cross the street here at 8th Avenue. It's a very lively night here in New York. And a very clear night too. It's a little bit humid though. Rob G says, yep, Cole. I love charcoal. Absolutely love it. I hope they don't ever get rid of it, our ESG buddies. It's just too much of an American pastime, I feel, to grill with charcoal. I don't know. Now we're gonna go up to 34th Street and then we're gonna make a right. What I wanna do tonight is actually go all the way down 34th Street, all the way to the east side by the hospitals, because the views are pretty good over there. There's the ferry terminal, and you're gonna have good views of the Chrysler Building, but looking from the east side, which we haven't seen in a long time, so I think we'll do that. Hey, Raleigh Hiker says, did the charcoal on my Weber today. By the pool, ribs, shrimp, and dogs. Oh my God. I'm absolutely jealous of you. Well, that's the way we need to do it, man. That's the only way to do it. I'm glad you enjoyed your Labor Day, because it's back to reality tomorrow. Busy week, shortened week, which is good. Pretty much all the colleges are back in session now here in New York and across the country. Now, you're looking at the corner of 34th Street and 8th Avenue. This is the New Yorker Hotel, the iconic New Yorker Hotel. But over the last couple of years, a few of the floors are actually dedicated to dormitories for the City University of New York, or CUNY. you could see everybody with their luggage coming back into the city tonight. Hey, Western Mass Dave's. I had burgers on the grill yesterday. Nothing compares. I haven't had burgers in a while, but I usually grill steaks. And I think we were talking earlier on the stream. Over the last few months, has anybody, obviously, some people in the chat have bought steaks over the last few months. I don't know, it feels like they're not cooking well. I tried it in New York, I tried it in Miami. Maybe it's just the time of year. I was looking this up actually on Reddit, and some other people have actually been running into the same problem. They said the meat is like a little bit gamey, and that could actually potentially be because the cattle is stressed out from all the wildfires and stuff. Look, I don't know how true that is, but maybe it's just me. But I feel like it's not cooking well properly. Yeah, Western Mass Dave's, I remember that chat recently. I don't know what's going on. I haven't really tried to cook any steak since. This is the fully restored Penn 1, which looks fantastic, by the way. You have a blue bottle coffee right off the main lobby. This used to be really sort of ratty and nasty. They did a full renovation on the inside, and I think they did a fantastic job. They expanded the ceiling heights. They planted some greenery here. All nice seating, and you have 2 coffee shops, 2 cafes. I think they did a good job. I actually went on an interview in this building a long time ago, many moons ago. And let me just tell you, it didn't look like this. It looked like a classic 1980s office building. Not good. Hey, the 79FH. I saw you earlier today on the Times Square walking video. Good to see you. Happy Labor Day. Even though I think you're joining us from Canada, right? Still happy Labor Day, honestly. Anyway, Tobias says, hey Tom, does Midtown get rowdy when the Knicks play in Madison Square Garden? You know what? I would actually say the area in and around Madison Square Garden gets more rowdy during Rangers games. Would anybody agree or disagree with that? The only time it really gets rowdy for Knicks games is when the Knicks are in the playoffs. And I think last year, I don't know anything about sports, by the way, but I think the Knicks made the playoffs last year and it was a little wild, but I actually think New York is a big hockey town. The Rangers games are always packed. I've never not seen Penn Station or Madison Square Garden not packed during a Rangers game. This is a really nice shot of the Empire State Building right at the Long Island Railroad entrance here. Hey, Steph UF. This is Love Hockey. I'd like to see a Rangers game for sure. I'm not the biggest hockey fan, but I would love to see a Rangers game. I have never been to a professional hockey game. All right, let's make the light here. So now we're crossing 7th Avenue by Macy's. And you can see all the way down there. A few nights ago, we actually did an all-inclusive walking tour and a little bit of an explanation of the Penn project. It's called Penn 2. Now it's really put on by Vornado, which is Steve Ross' company. But unfortunately, I don't know if you could tell, but Midtown Manhattan, specifically near 34th Street, stretching to 30th Street, has some of the highest office vacancy rates anywhere in the city. The only place that beats it out is actually Lower Manhattan. And the biggest blow to Lower Manhattan recently was Deutsche Bank. Our friends over at the German bulge bracket investment bank vacated 60 Wall Street and went all the way up to the old Time Warner Center. Hey, Stephen Bate is here. What's up, Stephen? Neil Bell, what's up? ICU Investigations says, which hotel is being demolished? That's a really good question. I think it's called the Pennsylvania, but I always get it mixed up. Since we're here, I'll take you there because this is very important to pay attention to, particularly if you own property in and around the Penn District. This Well, essentially what developers are trying to do, and what the city is really trying to do, is turn around the perception of 34th Street Penn Station. Now, I don't think I need to elaborate on that. I believe you all know what I'm talking about. Penn Station, 34th Street doesn't have the best reputation, right? Lots of homeless, lots of drugs, particularly on the 30th Street and 8th Avenue entrance. So they're trying to revitalize and revamp the area. Exhibit A would be the brand new Penn Station entrance right here, which is actually, they've done a phenomenal job. And they've also done a phenomenal job at the Moynihan Train Hall, where we started off the live stream. So things are coming along nicely. I'm very optimistic on the area. And I think over the next 10 years, you're gonna have a lot of the negative connotations about 34th Street Penn Station sort of fade away into the black, which is what we need. But I'll take you on a little bit of a walking tour under the scaffolding to show you the demolition site of the hotel. And it really opens up for unobstructed views of the Empire State Building, but all but temporarily though, because I believe there's going to be a mixed-use building that is built on the demolition side of the old hotel. Hey, D is here. What's up, D? All right, how, for all those New Yorkers in the chat, you'll probably agree with what I'm about to say. When is the last time you remember standing outside of Madison Square Garden and you could see one Vanderbilt and the Empire State Building? Particularly from the 32nd Street entrance. Pretty much never. So they've completely demolished the old hotel here, and they're going to start construction. I'm not too sure exactly what it's going to be. Anybody in the chat know what this is going to be? I believe it's going to be a mixed-use building. All the construction overhang over here as well. Look at these electronic screens. I think it's down here for a moment, but you can see some of the sort of like, what is it, LED triangles here. This is gonna look so different once it's complete. And it's much needed in the city because this area is not the best, in full transparency. This is gonna be the Penn District. One more awesome view of the Empire State Building. Look at that. Great color scheme for Labor Day. And once again, now that this hotel is completely demolished, you can see all the way to one Vanderbilt. It really opens up the city. It makes it feel a lot bigger, by the way. I know Brad's brain says those billboards are obnoxious. How'd they get those zoned? I don't know, but yeah, if you didn't have these two billboards right here, I mean, imagine the view you would have. But I mean, they kind of got to make revenue somehow. So I get it. I understand that totally. Let's cross the street while we have the light. Now, again, I'd advise the viewers, the chat, the team, to do a little bit of research on this area. We need to pay close attention to the Penn District, particularly over the next 5 years, because this project is going to be hit or miss. See, you can see Vornado Realty Trust, publicly traded company, and the city is going to press on with all the renovations to Penn Station, but there's going to be a little bit of a pause with the renovation and the restoration of the office, mainly due to market conditions. So the two main market conditions that are of concern are the following. Number one, we are in a completely different interest rate environment. Money is expensive, particularly on a construction loan. If you look at if you want to talk about, residential loans, right? A 30-year fixed rate mortgage. The average 30-year fixed in the United States is around 7.5%. So imagine what some of these, developers are paying on construction loans. Many of them are probably paying double-digit money right now, maybe even 10 or 11% money. So what is the incentive to build new office and commercial space when vacancies are at the highest levels they've ever been in the city? A little tough, right? But look, I think it still looks good. We'll keep our eye on it as things progress. And let's head to Koreatown, might as well. Hey, DC322, welcome. John says they should make that section a park. Well, the problem is the city doesn't own the land. It's privately held. Again, I'm not sure what it's going to be. We'll read it. Maybe we'll see what... Maybe they post what it's going to be. It should be residential. All right, this is wrong. It says anticipated completion July 2023. Oh, that's for the demolition. Okay, it is right. All right. Well, we'll keep tabs on it, guys. Hey, Teresa Diaz, welcome. Thanks for joining us. Patient Lobster says, can't wait till next month for my NYC visit. You're going to be visiting during a very fantastic time. Hopefully, if it cools down a little bit, you'll just start to see the very, very, very beginning of the foliage in Central Park. I was walking around Central Park a little bit today. It was gorgeous. Hey, Battery Grams says, hello, happy Labor Day, everybody. What's up? Remains his new subscriber here from Jamaica. Whoa, cool. Now that's a place I'd love to visit. As you all know, I love the tropics. If the climate is similar to Miami, Florida, tropical, hot and humid, you can count me in. I absolutely love that. So I would love to visit Jamaica. Good to see all of our Jamaican friends in the chat. So it's Labor Day today. Oh, look at that. You can see all the way to the Hudson Yards. Everything in the city has this red, white, and blue color scheme today. Looks great. So today was one of the busiest travel holidays in the United States. So we have to do our annual poll in the chat. So keep in mind, crude oil has had a little bit of a rally. If you look at crude oil futures right now, ticker symbol CL, I believe we're trading right around $86 a barrel. So for anybody who is out and about, driving around and traveling this weekend, how are the gas prices? So in the chat, we do this, you know, around every major holiday, particularly Thanksgiving, 4th of July, Labor Day, the travel season. Wherever you are around the United States or the world, what are you paying for a gallon of gas right now, this holiday weekend? I'd be interested to see. Hey, Abdullah, what's up? Welcome. MBA Elias, the one and only, happy Labor Day to you. DC322 says Hotel Penn was not only a hotel, there was a TV studio. I think I saw that. It was in the lobby, right? Christina G says $319. $375. That's not bad. Michael Decker says $409 in Tucson, Arizona. Mark says $363. Wendy England is $864. Maybe that's for a liter. Joey B says $329. Brad says $345. MBA Elias is $550. Holy crap. All right, I'm gonna assume you're in California. $5.50 for a gallon of gas. I don't know, crazy. UniJ23 says in the $3 range. Hawaii says $4.18. Well, Hawaii usually always has higher gas prices. David B says $3.99 here in Ocean County, New Jersey. David B says $3.99 in Ocean County, New Jersey. I read that one. Okay, wow. Arthur says $4.83. Patient Lobster says $4.70 in LA the last I checked. Whew. So there's definitely a difference. There's definitely a difference. It's interesting to do these polls in the chat because I remember when crude briefly broke into the $60 range. I think it traded at like $67. Some people were saying it was in the $2 range, a gallon of gas. So it looks like prices are actually going up again. And I think our strategic petroleum reserves are all but depleted now. Could we get a fact check on that? I think our strategic petroleum reserves are at the lowest levels ever. We probably should have fueled that up and bought a ton of it at $60 a barrel. Hey, Bighorn MT, what's up? Happy Labor Day. Resident of the Abyss is where are the gas stations in Manhattan? It's a good question. Mostly all the way on the west side. 10th Avenue, 11th Avenue. And there's also some on the east side as well. You'll never see any in Midtown Manhattan. They're always way on the west side, way on the east side. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of people in Vegas. Good to see you. Yeah, it's funny we're talking about gas because last night we spent a ton of time talking about Tesla. I was telling you guys a story. I took an Uber, and I never take Ubers. I hate taking Ubers. But to my surprise, it was a Tesla Model Y I got in, and I was talking to the guy. He just got it about 2 months ago, and the car is insane. It's insane. And I'm not a car guy at all, by any means. But wow, the Tesla Model Y, it's like being in a spaceship. It's unlike anything I've ever experienced before. So I can definitely relate to all those Tesla fanatics out there, for sure. Okay, now this is Herald Square at 34th Street. We are standing outside the very famous Macy's. Pretty soon, before you know it, we're going to be doing a live stream of the Macy's windows for the holidays. It's coming. It's definitely coming. LW Hunters is better than a Honda Accord. I mean, I would assume so. Again, take what I say about vehicles with a grain of salt. I'm a New Yorker. Very, very seldom do I drive. But just all the features he was telling me about in the Tesla was like unbelievable. It's an amazing piece of engineering. If you ever ride in one, you could tell it's an amazing piece of engineering. It's really the only way I could describe it. Great view here of One Vanderbilt. KN Ramsey, what's up? From Cincinnati, Ohio. Hey, Bob Smith, what's up, Tom? Strategic Reserve talk is very interesting. Yeah, I mean, I think, I believe it's at some of the lowest levels it's ever been at. But if you look at, okay, let's talk about crude oil just for a little bit. We won't hammer on the topic, but if you go all the way back to March of 2022, and you can look this up, you know, I'm not next to my computer right now, obviously, but if you go on tradingview.com or you pull up your Bloomberg terminal, zoom out on a monthly time frame on crude oil futures. I believe we hit a top in crude at $130 a barrel. It was getting crazy. $130 a barrel in March of 2022. Now prices have come down significantly, like they've cratered, but prices are starting to go back up. We're right at $86 a barrel right now. So I think it'd probably be a good move, you know, relatively speaking. Even if you wanted to start to fill it up now, I mean, it's a lot better than paying $130 a barrel. Anyway, who knows? If you look all the way down 6th Avenue, you can see the beautiful One World Trade Center. It's fantastic. Hey, Jade112 says, gotta run, I'll see you tomorrow. Take care, Jade, and happy Labor Day to you. Jay Grant is here, what's up? Good to see you. Sean D says, Tom, smart man, not driving in the city. I have to get on the train. Especially now in New York City with the congestion pricing. That is, I mean, talk about an inconvenience of inconveniences. I feel so bad for anybody who has to drive consistently on the island of Manhattan, because now you're going to get banged with the congestion pricing, which I think is totally unfair. I just think that is totally, totally unfair, because we pay some of the highest taxes in the entire nation here. in New York, and now we have to pay just to drive around Midtown Manhattan. I mean, think about how crazy that is. Now, there's a few things going on here, and I don't want to get too political. I respect everybody. You guys know that. But here's the thing. The city's obviously playing catch up due to the big tax hole that we're in. There's a couple reasons for this. And one of the concerns that I have is the following. So here's one of my concerns. Look around you on the stream, and what do you see? You see buildings everywhere. You see commercial space everywhere, office everywhere, retail everywhere. Think back 15 minutes ago on the live stream, what we were explaining, particularly in and around 34th Street, Penn Station, and in Lower Manhattan. Vacancy rates for offices are at near all-time record highs in the city. This is coming at a time where the vast majority of this commercial paper or this debt on these buildings are going to come due to be refinanced. Herein lies the problem. Okay, here's the problem. The problem is revenues or rent rolls are down because of the high vacancy. And when you go to refinance this debt, well, guess what? Interest rates, the Federal Reserve has raised interest rates. The Fed funds rate right now is at 5.25% to 5.5%. So significantly higher cost of money, significantly. So you have higher operating costs or higher operating expenses and lower revenues. So that means property valuations are going to go down. And when property valuations go down, guess what also goes down, right? The tax revenue that the city collects. And the city needs to collect tax revenue desperately because our costs are at all-time record highs, particularly with the MTA and the migrant situation we have that's projected to cost the city billions of dollars. So the city is scrambling. It's obvious the city is scrambling to make up for it somehow. So they're nickel and diming everybody for everything, right? They're putting the congestion pricing in. They haven't done this, but they're probably going to raise taxes because there's nothing else to, there's no way that they can sort of get themselves out of this hole. This isn't me being doom and gloom. I'm not a doom and gloom guy. I'm optimistic. I think this is going to sort itself out, but you're going to have short-term pain here. But the short-term pain is going to lead to a new New York City, I think. It's going to be long-term gain because there's always opportunity when there's chaos. Whenever there's chaos, there's opportunity. You're going to have investors that are going to buy distressed assets. They're going to put money into these buildings, either do condo conversions or make the buildings a little bit nicer to attract tenants, and a new cycle will start. But I think there's going to be a little bit of pain. Hey, RJ, what's up? RJ's here from Colorado. What's up? Always a pleasure to see you. Colton Manning is here. Says, hey, Tom and Chad, happy Labor Day. Thank you, sir. Happy Labor Day to you, too. Hopefully you had a good one. Somebody's like, they should put EV charging stations around the city. I agree. I agree with that wholeheartedly. There needs to be a way. Now, I'm not an urban designer or an urban planner by any means, but there needs to be a way where we can integrate underground EV charging. Now, maybe it'll get vandalized, but I don't know. But there needs to be a way where you can install power lines under the ground and they sort of like pop up when you park and then you can plug your car in. If they could do that all through the city, that would be like freaking amazing. Because what we're doing now is we're putting the EV chargers in the parking garages and there's only limited space and it's very, very expensive. West 84th Street, I believe there's actually a couple EV chargers that are public on the street, but nowhere near the capacity that we need. I would support that. I think that comment is great. Yeah, I support that as well. I know NBA Live says that street needs to be repaved. Now that's one thing I'll commend the city on. Since the big C being the big virus situation, the city has actually done a pretty good job with repaving the roads, particularly in lower Manhattan, in and around Chinatown and Little Italy. So we got to give credit where credit's due. That guy's wearing his mask over his eyes, protecting from the COVID over the eyes. Hey, YouTubers here, what's up? Richard Vogel says, Tom, can you explain what congestion pricing is? Sure. So congestion pricing is essentially an extra toll, right? I shouldn't call it a tax, but the way I think and the way I operate is if it's an extra expense, it's a tax, right? So if you want to drive a vehicle, your personal vehicle, a rented vehicle, anything, below 60th Street. So if you look at a map of the island of Manhattan, 60th Street is the very, very top of Columbus Circle, right? You have Broadway, 60th Street. As you go down and past 60th Street, on the lower end, you have 59th Street, Columbus Circle, Billionaires Row, all that. Once you drive your vehicle past that, it's going to take a snapshot of your license plate and it's going to send you a toll, just like how you pay a toll when you go over the George Washington Bridge, when you go through the tunnels. It's just going to be an additional added cost, but the only thing you're going to do is just for driving in Midtown Manhattan. In my view, it's crazy. Now, there's many people that support it, right, as to why it passed, because people support it, but I don't particularly support it. But look, I'm respectful to everybody else. We just respectfully disagree. Now, I guess I'll ask all of you, right? Because it doesn't matter what I think. The purpose of the stream is to have an open dialogue, right? Doesn't matter if you're right-leaning, left-leaning. I don't care. Is there anybody that does support the congestion pricing? And could you have a case and maybe educate us as to why it would be good for New York or the city? I mean, I'd be open to hearing it. I just don't see how it would benefit us. But I'm totally open-minded and all ears to see maybe how it could. This is an amazing shot. You have the beautiful One Vanderbilt, and you also have the top of the Chrysler Building. This is one of my favorite locations in all of New York City. This is Bryant Park. And since we're here, we might as well take a walk around Bryant Park. Nina says, no, not everywhere in the USA. Taxes are already on the high end. Carmen says, more bikes, less cars. I actually agree with that. I like cities to be more walkable. That's why I love New York City so much, because it's so walkable. I mean, we do a live stream walking around the city for 2 hours every night. That's how walkable it is. So generally, I agree with you. And I don't really like the noise with the cars either. Hey, Sean D says, I think if you are a resident, you should maybe pay half the price. Papa's Daddy says,